So the next topic in case of the digital image processing, we started with the module that is the segmentation, and in this video lecture we are considering the topic, we are focusing on the topic that is the thresholding, which is used in case of the segmentation. So let's start with the definition, or to understand what the thresholding means here. Suppose an image fxy is composed of several light objects in on a dark background. So we can say that the histogram for such image may look like the following. Here we have represent showing the two dominate modes. So an obvious way to extract the object information is to select the threshold T that separate the two modes. So we are applying the threshold to separating the two portions of that image. So that is depending upon the threshold. So the basic principle of thresholding is it produces the uniform regions based on the threshold criteria T, and the key parameter of the thresholding process is the choice of the threshold value. So we can say that if thresholding operation depend upon only the grayscale value, then it is the global thresholding. In case of neighborhood properties on some local properties, then it is known as the local thresholding. If the case T depend upon the pixel coordinate, then it is known as the dynamic or the adaptive thresholding. So on the basis of it, the thresholding is a function which contains the spatial coordinate, that is x comma y, gray level of the pixel, that is fx comma y, and some local properties of the image, that is ax comma y. Therefore the thresholding operation can be expressed as a function th, that is thresholding, is equal to t x comma y, which is the spatial coordinate, comma fx comma y, which is the gray level of the pixel, comma ax comma y, which contains some local properties of the image. So suppose that we have the several objects with different gray levels. So in the previous we have the single object, one single image, and we have to divide the histogram of that image into the two portions by separating its threshold value. So if we have more than two modes, so with the different gray level values that may comprise the image, so an object may be classified as belonging to one object class if t1 is less than fx comma y is less than equal to t2, to a second class if x comma y is greater than t2, or to the background if x comma y is less than equal to t1. So is generally less reliable than the single level thresholding. So then the thresholding may be viewed as the operation that tests against a given function of the form t x comma y comma p x comma y comma f x comma y. So यहाँ पर p लिखा है, previously a से denote किया था, that are the similar things. So where x comma y is a gray level of the point x comma y, and px comma y is some local property of the point. The average gray level of a neighborhood around x comma y. So यहाँ पर जो p है उसे हम previously a से denote किया था, that is local property. So threshold image is given by gx comma y is equal to 1 if fx comma y is greater than the threshold value. Otherwise it is 0 if fx x comma y is less than or equal to t. The pixel labeled 1 or other convenient gray level value correspond to the object. So if we are talking about the histogram of the image, and based on the histogram we can divide the thresholding concept. The quality of the thresholding algorithm depend upon the selection of the suitable threshold. There are the tools that help to find the threshold is histogram. The types of histogram is unimodal, bimodal, and multimodal. In case of the histogram and thresholding, if we are talking about the unimodal means if we have the histogram having only one peak value. Bimodal means if we have a histogram with the two peak values. क्लियर? डिफरेंस क्या है तीनों हिस्टोग्राम्स में? फर्स्ट वन था यूनी मॉडल, वी हैव द एनी हिस्टोग्राम एंड ओनली वन पीक इज रिप्रेजेंटेड. वाई मॉडल में क्या है कि हमारे पास टू पीक वैल्यूज है. दीज आर डिफरेंशिएटेड बाय सम कॉमन वैल्यू. मल्टी मॉडल हिस्टोग्राम में क्या है कि हमारे पास दो से ज़्यादा पीक वैल्यूज गिवन है. सो दीज आर द थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ हिस्टोग्राम. सो द हिस्टोग्राम के लिए हम क्या करते हैं कि हमारे पास एक एग्जांपल हम लेते हैं कोई भी इमेज एफ एक्स कॉमा वाई विच इज़ composed of light objects on a dark background. So there is a diagram which is shown here. The two models are to be separated. Here the histogram of the image is given. Two are separated with some thresholding concept. So the single level thresholding is here. The object can be extracted by comparing the pixel values with the threshold t at any point x comma y. If f x comma y is greater than t then it is called the object. अगर वो वैल्यू लेस देन होगी इमेज की थ्रेशोल्ड से देन इट इज़ कॉल्ड द बैकग्राउंड. इन केस ऑफ द मल्टी लेवल थ्रेशोल्डिंग, अगर हमारे पास कोई सी इमेज का हिस्टोग्राम है और उसे हम दो से ज़्यादा मोड्स में डिवाइड कर रहे हैं बाय सेपरेटिंग T1 एंड T2, so it is also possible to extract the object that have a specific intensity range using the multiple thresholds. उसे हम स्पेसिफाई कैसे कर सकते हैं? इफ़ T1 इज लेस देन f ऑफ x कॉमा y इज लेस देन इक्वल टू T2 then one object class. If f x comma y is greater than T2 then the other object class. Clear? So these are the single level and the multi level thresholding concept. So next we have the global thresholding. So in y model image, y मॉडल में क्या था जिसमें हमारे पास दो पीक वैल्यू हो सेपरेटेड बाय सम कॉमन डिफरेंस वैल्यू. सो हिस्टोग्राम हैव टू डिस्टिंक्ट पीक्स separated by a valley between them. So a valley point is chosen as threshold. Then pixels of the given image are compared with the threshold. So threshold process is given as gx comma y is equal to 1 if f of x comma y is greater than equal to t and 0 otherwise. So the basic global threshold t is calculated as randomly select an initial threshold t first of all, and secondly segment the image using the two groups of pixel g1 and g2. Third point is determine the mean m1 of the pixel in group 1 group that lie between or below in the histogram. Below t in the histogram, determine mean m2 of the pixel in group 2 that lie above the t in the histogram. The new threshold is m1 plus m2 divided by 2. So repeat the step number of times 2 to 5 until the difference in t in successive iteration is less than the predefined limit. So this is the concept of the global thresholding and some of the points. Next we have the multiple thresholding, which is a process that segment a gray level into the several distinct regions. So we can see that it is the extension of the simple thresholding technique where fi values of the input image pixel t1 t2 t3 to tn multiple threshold values g1 g2 to gn values of the output image. So the output image is equal to g1 if f of I is greater than equal to 0 and less than equal to t1, g2 if f of I is greater than t1 and less than equal to t2, and up to so on gn if t of n minus 1 is less than fi or less than 255. Last we have the adaptive thresholding. Adaptive thresholding changes the threshold dynamically over the image. It is also known as the dynamic thresholding algorithm. The adaptive thresholding work well in the situations where the image is affected by non-uniform illumination problem. So there are the various techniques. First one is divide the image into many overlapping sub images, and next we have the split the image into the many sub regions. So this is the concept where the splitting and the merging is to be applied. So dividing means divide the image into the various many overlapping sub images. Means we have the images like 1 2 3, these are the overlapping image, and we have to combine these image. Splitting mean when some useful image statistics are to be used, mean plus the constant values, median plus the constant minimum plus maximum divided by 2, and where c is the constant, these techniques are to be applied. So the next topic is the edge linking and the boundary detection. So the thresholding concept is complete. Here we done the threshold. What is the meaning of threshold? How the histogram concept is to be used in case of the thresholding. Then we discuss about the type: single level thresholding, multi-level thresholding, global thresholding, and the multiple thresholding, and last one is the adaptive thresholding.